I warned her more than once, gently at first, then clearly. I told her that some choices don't just hurt feelings, they change lives. She laughed it off, saying I was overthinking and being controlling. We had been together for 5 years, and she believed she knew better than I did. The problem started when she got a new manager at work. She talked about him often, too often, praising how understanding and modern he was. I noticed the late replies, the sudden privacy, the way her phone never left her hand. When I asked, she said it was just work pressure. One night, I saw a message pop up while her phone was charging. It wasn't romantic, but it was personal, too personal for a boss. I confronted her calmly and told her to set boundaries. I warned her that office relationships, even emotional ones, can destroy reputations. She got angry instead. She accused me of not trusting her and said I was insecure. The argument ended with her saying, "Nothing will happen. You'll see." I wanted to believe her, but something felt wrong. Weeks later, she told me she had an overseas work conference. She was excited, packing new clothes, planning selfies at the airport. I reminded her again to be careful, to remember who she was and what she could lose. She rolled her eyes and kissed my cheek like I was a worried parent. At the airport, she posted smiling photos, tagging the company and talking about new opportunities. I stayed home, uneasy, refreshing my phone more than I should have. Deep down, I felt this trip was a mistake. Then, 2 hours before her flight, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. The voice on the other end was calm and professional. It was her boss. He asked if I was her husband and if she was with me. My heart dropped as I said no, she was at the airport. He sighed and told me everything. There had been complaints. Messages had been discovered. Boundaries crossed. The trip wasn't a conference. It was an investigation meeting. And she wasn't attending anymore. While she was waiting to board, her phone rang too. I imagined her smile fading as she answered. He told her not to get on the plane and to return home immediately. Security was already informed. She called me minutes later, panicking, crying, saying it was all a misunderstanding. I stayed quiet. I had warned her, clearly and honestly. She came home that night, not as a confident professional, but as someone whose world had cracked. Her job was suspended pending review. Her reputation was damaged, and trust between us was shattered. She tried to explain, saying she never meant for it to go that far. She said she was just enjoying the attention, the validation. I listened, but something inside me had changed. The woman standing in front of me wasn't the same person I had warned. She was someone who chose excitement over respect, denial over honesty. I realized love alone can't protect you from consequences. Days passed in silence. Friends started asking questions. Rumors spread faster than facts. She avoided eye contact, avoided mirrors, avoided responsibility. One evening, she asked if we would be okay. I told her the truth, that I didn't know. Trust isn't repaired by apologies alone. It's rebuilt by choices, and hers had already been made. She started therapy. She looked for another job. She tried to be better. I saw the effort, but effort doesn't erase damage. I reflected on myself too, on how warnings are often ignored not because they're wrong, but because the truth is uncomfortable. I had done my part. I had spoken up. Months later, we sat across from each other, calmer but distant. We both knew something had ended, even if we didn't say it out loud. Some lessons arrived too late. In the end, her boss's call wasn't just about her job. It was about accountability, about how private choices can become public consequences in a moment. She ignored my warning, believing she was in control. But control is an illusion when boundaries are crossed. And at the airport, with a suitcase full of plans, she learned that betrayal doesn't always look like cheating. Sometimes, it looks like arrogance. That call didn't just stop her flight. It changed the direction of both our lives forever.